Hello, Internet. I kept trying to think of a rant that would work for a fourth rant video, but they all kept getting really long-winded and unfocused, and given that I'm recording this at like 11 o'clock at night, 11:30 more specifically, they're starting to get less and less coherent. So, I think I've just decided to turn this last rant video into something I've more or less decided to do, and it's more or less going to be an announcement. Simply put, I'm going to take January off. I mean, let's face it, nothing good comes out in January. I mean, I've seen some like carryovers from the previous year that have been good, but there are rarely any films that are good on their own merits that come out in January. I mean, based on my experience, I haven't seen that many that have actually been like, "Oh, it's a film that didn't do that the studio didn't have a lot of faith in." I mean, even Snowpiercer, a film that Harvey Weinstein tried to bury, was released in the summer. So, long story short, I think I'm going to take January off, just so that I can kind of get back to some of the other endeavors I've been neglecting. I mean, I've been wanting to try to work on some music, especially doing a follow-up to March of the Dragon, which is still my most popular video. And I also want to kind of start developing some of the ideas for my own films or web series. I haven't quite exactly hammered out the format, but I kind of need to devote some time to some of the other stuff I've been neglecting. I mean, maybe I'll devote some of that energy to another episode of From the Shelf. I know I still have to do my review of Batteries Not Included. I've also got a few other. I need to hammer out a way to shoot a lot of those episodes in bulk, which means watching a lot of those movies multiple times, taking my notes, and basically doing what research I can to basically provide as good a review and analysis as possible. Not to mention that I've also got like the hub pog so I can start doing gaming stuff and just kind of figure out what I want to do aside from my normal reviews. I mean, if I get to go to an advanced screening, I'll go to it, do a quick review, and give you my thoughts on the film I'm seeing. But I'm not going to actively seek films out in the month of January. I mean, I learned my lesson last year when I tried cramming Strange Magic and Mordecai into one day of viewing. And not only was it exhausting, but it was just not very pleasant. Basically, seeing two really bad, disappointing films back to back, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So, yeah. More or less going to take January off so that I can focus on some of the other more complicated endeavors that I've just more or less been neglecting as of late, between balancing my YouTube stuff, the reviews, the podcast, and my day job. Now, I'm not going to like stop any one of those things per se. I mean, I'm still going to be on the podcast because, well, that's, I mean, it just goes without saying because that's one of the things I look forward to every single week. It just means that I probably won't be having a lot of videos coming up every so often. I mean, there already was a bit of a drought these past few months because of how busy it gets during the last 3 months. But that's more or less where I'm going with this, is that I'm going to take January off and try to focus on some of the more complicated endeavors. Maybe I'll actually get MonsterClash shot on time for a change. So, yeah. Speaking of which, if you're wondering why I still haven't done the MonsterClash of Carrie, well, to give you an idea, my Nightmare on Elm Street video, that was 5 written pages, 12-point font, Times New Roman, with single spacing, default margins. 5 pages equated to about 15 minutes of video. This is the one for Carrie. Notice the sizable stack. So this shows I've done the write-up. I've done my research on these, but this is 10 pages long. I mean, to kind of show you, here is how long just round 1 is. Round 1 is 3 pages long in and of itself. Now, if this led to 15 minutes, this is going to lead to easily 10, if not longer, because I go into a lot more detail about Carrie. So that's why the Carrie video has been taking so long, is because, well, there's a lot to cover. Now, while it may be easy to think, oh, one's like better or worse, and I've had some people just accuse me of having my taste be in my mouth, but one thing I want to kind of consider is that I'm seeing a lot of these films for the first time, and so I'm giving them an objective review based on, well, how I first felt about watching them for the first time, and so that's why some of my opinions aren't necessarily popular. I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street, it was pretty easy. But with something like The Wolfman and Fright Night, it wasn't. And with Carrie, that's going to be at least 30 minutes long. So, point being, that's one of the reasons why I'm taking January off, so that I can hopefully get stuff like this done and have it ready this time for Halloween instead of being down to the wire like I was this year and last year where I left a botched outtake in and wasn't even able to get it up until November 2nd. So, yeah. That's pretty much the main reason why I'm going to take January off, so that way I can focus on some of the endeavors I've been neglecting. And if you're still willing to support me during all this, I really appreciate it. And I should probably go to sleep because it's almost midnight and I am starting to become less and less coherent. So, with all of that, thank you for supporting me throughout this entire year. I hope you've enjoyed these weird, rambly rants that I've been uploading, trying to get up before the year ends. So, yeah, here's looking forward to a hopefully smoother, more productive 2016. But until then, I'll see you all next time.